What's up, guys? It's Bjorn here again, bringing you guys week 2 of Sweep of the Week, and this week we got Smoochum, as you saw before. And I hope you guys liked how I included the Jeopardy music. I thought it was pretty interesting. So I've got a match against Fat Ferdy, and excuse me if my voice sounds weird or I'm saying things that don't make sense at any point in this video. I just woke up, so yeah, I just wanted to get this out of the way. So he leads off with the Charizard with Ominous Wind. So I'm just gonna set up Stealth Rocks first because I saw Dragonite on his team in the team preview. Dragonites are actually pretty threatening because they have the multi-scale, which could essentially, stop my sweep. So I set up the Stealth Rocks, and I set up a Light Green, which would let me to survive another Ominous Wind and let me set up my Reflect. So I let my Deoxys die just so I can get a safe switch into my Ninjask, and he goes for the Brick Break, which is actually pretty important because he breaks all my screens. This entire game I'm going to be setting up substitutes to pass on because when I don't have the screens, my Pokemon are a lot more vulnerable. So, especially here, I'm just trying to keep substitute up at all times. Now he's going to go for the Fire Blast and break my sub, but I've got max speed right now, so I'm just going to try to pray for a Fire Blast miss so I can carry over sub, and of course he misses when I use the Protect, But I just went for Protect there to get some leftovers damage, and that's another thing I wanted to mention. I've changed my team from the last week, and I've pretty much finalized my team. Last week, it was like my first time actually going for sweeps, but this week I've actually finalized everything. This is probably going to be the exact same team I'm going to be using every single week, besides the Pokemon I'm sleeping with, of course. Last week this Ninjask actually had a Focus Sash, but I found that a Focus Sash wasn't really needed because of all the screens I would set up with my Deoxys. So I replaced it with a Leftovers, so when I protected and substituted, I could get some Leftovers health back. And I also changed a bunch of other stuff too. Like my sweeper Pokemon. Like last week, I tried it out with Life Orb and it didn't work because I would always end up killing myself. So I put them in the Leftovers, and that's actually how I got my Swoobat sweep. I got a Leftovers. But the Leftovers didn't really help me that much because I was at full health the entire time because I had my substitute for the majority of the time. So I said I would switch to an Expert Belt, and I did. Because luckily, the Pokemon I'm getting, even though they're sort of weak, like Smoochum, they do have a wide array of moves that can cover a lot of types. So it has a lot of type coverages. So, I put an Expert Belt on it, and I get super effective, like every single attack. So the Expert Belt will help me a lot more than Life Orb, and I don't really need Leftovers. So as you can see, he went for the Roost, which gave me a perfect time to set up my substitute, so I Baton Passed into my Mew. And he's going to keep going for a Brick Break. And I go for an Amnesia here, because I'm thinking, oh, he has the Ominous Wind, it's going to super effective me. But what I forgot during this match is that Deoxys D has Pressure, and Pressure made him waste all of his Ominous Wind PP on my Deoxys. So I kept going for the Amnesias first, thinking that he had the Ominous Wind. So I was like sort of confused on why I went for the Brick Break. But then, after that, I sort of realized it, and I was like, oh, yeah, Pressure. Alright, so now I'm just going to go for the Iron Defenses, but I did get both of them up, so now I'm just going to go for one more Amnesia and one more Iron Defense just to finalize my defense stats. And after this next Iron Defense, he is going to kill himself due to Life Orb, which is good. So he goes to the Brick Break, which is pretty much all he can do. He gets a critical hit, which goes through all my stat boosts, but it still does nothing. Because my Mew is actually a max defense and max special defense set. So he goes into his Aerodactyl, and I go for the substitute. But he goes for a Rock Slide, gets a crit again, which breaks through my sub, obviously, because it goes through all my defenses. So I'm going to go for a second substitute, knowing he can't break it again. And he doesn't go for the Rock Slide, it doesn't break it, which is good, which means I can now Baton Pass into my Smeargle. So that is exactly what I do, Baton Pass into my Smeargle. And since my Smeargle is behind a substitute, it'll help me out a lot. The Rock Slide still doesn't break my sub, so I'm going to go for a Spore, put him to sleep, just so I get more turns to do whatever I want. So, I'm going to set up Tail Glows, because Smoochum is a special attacker, just like Swoobat. Hopefully next week I get a physical attacker, because I want to try my physical attacking sweep team too. But, he wakes up, goes for the Rock Slide, breaks my sub, but that's no biggie at all. I can just go for the Spore, put him to sleep. That's one sleep turn right there. I'm going to substitute. Then he's going to be asleep again. That's going to be the second sleep turn. And then now, I'm going to Baton Pass into my Smoochum. And here's the Smoochum sweep. So as I said before, this Smoochum has Expert Belt instead of Life Orb or Leftovers. So he wakes up, goes to the Rock Slide, super effective, breaks my sub, but it does not matter. My Smoochum's ready to sweep. I go for the Ice Beam. It's super effective. Get that Ice Expert Belt boost. He sends in the Skarmory. The rocks also break his Sturdy. And my Hidden Power Fire immediately takes out the Skarmory, and it's also super effective. So as you can see, Expert Belt's working a lot better. Expert Belt's pretty much taking the role of my Life Orb, without the cost of me losing health. I go for the Hidden Power Fire again, take out the Metagross, use this in the Salamence. He gets off and Intimidate, doesn't matter. I'm a special attacker, and a -1 attack won't do anything. Go for the Ice Beam, get the quad effective, take him down. Now his last Pokemon's the Dragonite. He does go for the Extreme Speed, but because the Stealth Rocks broke his multi-scale, I will be able to take him out with an Ice Beam. So that is the game, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the match.